Hi everyone. In the previous video, we discussed two kinds of sentences. Declarative sentence, how do we change declarative sentences from direct to indirect, and open interrogative sentence, how do we change from direct to indirect. That's what we have discussed. So let us discuss in this video, or let us learn how to change the remaining kinds of sentences into indirect speech. The third kind of sentence is closed interrogative. The third kind of sentence is closed interrogative sentence. So when it is a closed interrogative sentence, let us see what are the changes we need to make sentences from direct to indirect. Said or said to changes to asked, questioned, inquired, interrogated. Just like open interrogative sentence. Even in open interrogative, said or said to changes to asked, questioned, inquired, and interrogated. And the conjunction for the closed interrogative sentence, we have two, if or whether. We can use if, we can use whether. And in open interrogative sentence, we used question word as a conjunction, same question word as a conjunction. But in closed interrogative, we need to remember the conjunction what we use or if or whether. And there's supposed to be an inversion, just like an open interrogative sentence. So what is the inversion? Inversion is nothing but helping verb and subject, they interchange their places. And if there is no listener, consider me as a listener. If there is no listener, consider me as a listener. So these are the 4 points you need to remember while changing closed interrogative sentence into direct sentences into indirect sentences. Let's take an example. John said to Joe, "Have you finished this work?" I told you already what is more important while changing direct to indirect is reported clause. What is the reported clause in the given sentence? Have you finished this work? Reported clause is nothing but the words or sentence which is in inverted commas is called a reported clause. So have you finished this work is a reported clause. That have you finished this work is what kind of sentence? This is a closed interrogative sentence. How do we know it's a closed interrogative? Closed interrogative sentence, they always begin with a helping verb and followed by subject. And the subject either noun or pronoun. So this particular sentence, have you finished this work, began with a helping verb and then followed a subject here. So we call it a closed interrogative sentence. So it is a closed interrogative. So if it is a closed interrogative, we need to remember the points. Said or said to changes to. Said or said to changes to asked. And third point, inversion. Third point, inversion. What is inversion? These two changes their places. Subject and helping verb change their place. You comes here, have goes there. So they interchange. You and have they interchange. Fourth point, use me if there is no listener. Use me if there is no listener. Let us see whether there is a listener or not. John said to Joe, there is a listener. So we don't use me. Fifth point, conjunction. What is the conjunction we use? If or whether. If or whether, the conjunctions we use. Now let us change sentence into indirect speech. John said to changes to. Said to changes to asked. John asked Joe. John asked Joe. What is the conjunction we can use? If or whether. Let's take if. John asked Joe if. So we had already made inversion here. So you refers to whom? You refers to Joe. You refers to the listener and that listener is Joe. Joe is a he. So we write he. And have changes to. have or has, have or has. Change of tense, have or has changes to had. So write had. He had, if he had finished, if he had finished. Look here, this. When we discussed this plus time changes to that plus time. When it comes to this plus noun, changes to the plus noun. Now look at the word here. After this, work. Work is a noun here. So this plus noun changes to the plus noun. So John asked Joe if he had finished the work. And always indirect speech ends with full stop. So we don't use a question mark. We end with this sentence. Indirect speech indirect speech always ends with full stop. So this is how we change closed interrogative sentence. Let us take another example. Will you be at the party? He said to her. Will you be at the party? He said to her. So what is the reported clause? The sentence which is in inverted commas. Will you be at the party? What kind of sentence it is? Will you be at the party? Will is a helping verb. You is a subject. So it is a closed interrogative sentence. Closed interrogative. If it is a closed interrogative, you need to recollect the points. Said or said to. Changes to asked. Third point, there must be inversion. So what is inversion? You comes here, will goes there. You and will. They interchange their place. Fourth point, use me if there is no listener. Let us see whether there is a listener or not. Here also listener there. He said to her, her is the listener. So there is a listener, so we don't use me. Fifth point, conjunction. What is the conjunction? If or whether. If or whether. Now let's change the sentence into indirect speech. I told you already, even though the reporting clause is at the end or in the middle, but while changing into indirect speech, we always start reported indirect speech with the reporting clause. So he said to, asked her. What is the conjunction? If or whether. If. You may question me, sir, when should we use whether, when should we use if? So if you want to use whether, there must be or in the sentence, or there should be or in a reported clause. If there is or in the reported clause, or are, then we can use whether or. Whether he could do it or not. In those cases, we prefer whether. Of course, no wrong using whether or if, but mostly whether is preferred when there is or in reported clause. If, so he asked her if you is related to the listener. Who is the listener? Her. So she. If she. Will changes to modals. Will changes to would. Will changes to would. Here I would like to remind you a point that related to active and passive voice. Most of the students and most of you make a mistake. Even in active and passive voice, they change will into would while they write from active to passive. While writing active to passive, we don't change will into would. We write will, shall, can, may. But whereas when you change from direct to indirect, when you change sentences from direct to indirect, Will changes to would, shall changes to should, can changes to could. So keep that in mind. She could, if she could be at the party. So answer is, he asked her if she would be at the party. So always ends with full stop. So this is how we change it. Sentence. Let us take one more sentence. The patient wanted to know, is the doctor in? So what is the reported clause? Sentence in inverted commas. Is the doctor in? Reported clause. What kind of sentence? Is a helping verb. The doctor is noun. That's a subject. So helping verb plus subject. So it is a closed interrogative sentence. It's a closed interrogative sentence. If it is a closed interrogative sentence, second point, said or said to. Said or said to. Changes to asked. Third point, inversion. Let's change inversion. So the doctor comes here, the doctor, and is goes there. They interchange the place. Subject and helping verb, they interchange the place. Fourth point, use me if there is no listener. Let us see whether there is a listener or not. The patient wanted to know. So there is no listener. We can use me as a listener. Fifth point, conjunction. What is the conjunction? If or whether. These two are the conjunctions. We can use if or we can use whether. So now let's change into sentence. The patient. Here we can't see said or said to changes to asked, but whereas there is no said or said to here. So when there is no said or said to, we use the same reporting verb. This is a reporting class, this is reporting verb. Wanted is a reporting verb. We use the same reporting verb while change direct to indirect when there is no said or said to. So we write same. Wanted to know. So here we need not to mention the listener. The patient wanted to know, conjunction, if the doctor is, am, is, are, changes to was or were. Now the doctor is a singular, so we use was. If the doctor was in, full stop. This is how we change closed interrogative sentences into closed interrogative direct sentences into indirect. So direct speech to indirect speech. Sentences with question tag. How do we change sentences that have a question tag? So it is just when you see a sentence with a question tag. Let us see what is a question tag. A declarative or assertive sentence followed by a comma, and then there will be a piece of a question. So the word itself says tag. Tag is what? A piece. So it is not a complete question, we just use a piece of a question. What is the piece here? Aren't you is the piece. That's called a question tag. You are playing chess, aren't you? Said Ravi. When there is a question tag in a sentence, while changing these kind of sentences from direct to indirect, we need to follow the rules of a closed interrogative sentence. Even though it is a question tag sentence, while changing question tag sentences into indirect speech, we follow the rules of a closed interrogative sentence. So before changing into indirect speech, let us make a sentence as a closed interrogative sentence. You are playing chess, aren't you? So what is the meaning or what is the form of this sentence is nothing but, are you playing chess? Question mark. So we just made a declarative comma and a question tag sentence. A question tag sentence we just converted into closed interrogative sentence. Because I told you this question tag sentences has to, in order to change into indirect speech, we need to follow the rules of closed interrogative sentence. So that's the reason I made a question tag sentence into closed interrogative sentence. Now this is, are you playing chess? Now it is easy for us to change into indirect. Are you playing chess is a closed interrogative sentence. Then point 1, it is a closed interrogative sentence. And if it is a closed interrogative sentence, said or said to changes to asked. And third point, inversion. Fourth point, use me if there is no listener. Let us see whether there is a listener or not. Ravi said, so there is no listener, so we use me. What is the inversion? R and U changes their places. So R comes here, U goes there. Fifth point is a conjunction. Fourth point, use me. So there is no listener, we are using me there. And fifth point, conjunction. What is the conjunction we supposed to use? If or whether. So let us change into indirect speech. So always bring reporting clause. Always start indirect speech with reporting clause. Ravi asked me, said or said to. Said or said to changes to asked. Ravi asked me, are you playing chess? Don't worry about the given sentence. We just converted the sentence, a question tag sentence, into closed interrogative sentence. Let us follow the closed interrogative sentence. Are you playing chess? Ravi asked me. There is an inversion, no? U comes here and R goes there. U comes here and R goes. U means who is the listener? Listener is me. Who is the listener? Me is the listener. So then I am the listener. Ravi asked me, conjunction if I, that you refers to me. Me is I. R changes to am, is, are. Changes to was or were. I was. Ravi asked me if I was playing chess. Full stop. So if it is a question tag sentence, first convert into a closed interrogative sentence and then change into indirect speech. So while changing question tag sentences, we always follow closed interrogative sentence rules. Let us take one more example. You don't like him, do you? She said to him. So it is a question tag. Do you is a question tag. Assertive sentence, comma, and do you is a question tag. So it is a question tag sentence. So first convert into closed interrogative sentence. So you don't like him, do you? What is the meaning of it? Do you like him? Do you like him? Now it is a closed interrogative sentence. Let's follow the rules of closed interrogative and let us see. First, what is the first? Said or said to? Said or said to? Changes to asked. Third point, inversion. So let us see inversion. You comes, do go there. You and do. You and do. Inversion. Fourth point, use me if there is no listener. Let us see whether there is a listener or not. She said to him. Listener is there. So we don't use me. And then fifth point, conjunction. What are the conjunction we supposed to use? If or whether. If or whether. We use if or whether. You don't like him, do you? She said to him. So bring always reporting a clause. While starting answer, we bring always reporting the clause. She said to, asked him. Conjunction if. If you do like him, you refers to whom? You refers to listener. Him means he. If he do like, already we have discussed at this point, do plus V1, do like, do plus V1 changes, and while changing into indirect speech we change it to V2. Do plus V1 we change it to V2. Do plus like. So what is a V2 here? We don't use this do. Like V2 is liked. Liked. So answer is, she asked him if he liked him. She asked him if he liked him. This is the answer. You don't like him, do you? Is a question tag sentence. We convert that sentence into do you like him? Closed interrogative sentence, and follow all the rules that related to closed interrogative sentence. So if it is a question tag sentence, sentences with question tag, sentences with question tag. It is a question tag sentence. Always follow the rules of a closed interrogative sentence. Okay, fourth kind of sentence, imperative sentences. Fourth kind of sentences, imperative sentences. If it is an imperative sentence, what are the changes we should make while changing direct speech into indirect speech? Said or said to. We use requested, ordered, advised, commanded, appealed, directed, guided, shouted. Even we can ask asked. Even you can use asked. Question we can use, ordered we can use, requested we can use, advised we can use, commanded, appealed, directed, guided, shouted, or asked. Whatever related to the given sentence, we need to use reporting. We need to change reporting. And a conjunction, when it comes to conjunction, we use to and not. If the given sentence is a positive sentence, then we use to. If it is a negative sentence, we use not to. If it is a positive sentence, we use to. If it is a negative sentence, we use not to. And here, there is no back shift. No back shift. We don't change. No back shift. No back shift. No change of a tense. Let's take example. Samir said, please open the door. Samir said, please open the door. Here, look at the sentence which is in inverted commas. Please open the door. So what kind of sentence is please open the door? Imperative sentences begins with the verb, begins with the please, begins with the don't plus verb, and then never or ever plus verb. Never or ever plus verb. Now here, the sentence begins with the please. So it is an imperative sentence. Imperative sentence. If it is an imperative sentence, what is the, how do we change said or said to? Said or said to. Based on the sentence. Please open the door. Once you look at the please open the door, it is a request. So here, said or said to changes to requested. So it is a request, so we use a request. Third point, there is no change of a tense. So let's change into sentence. Indirect speech. Samir requested to Sorry, conjunction has to be with conjunction. What is the conjunction we supposed to use? If it is a positive, we use a to. If it is a negative sentence, we use a not to. Please open the door is a positive sentence, so we use a conjunction to. Samir requested to open the door. Samir requested to open the door. Samir requested to open the door. So it is an imperative sentence. This is how we need to change. Let's take one more example. Geeta said to Harini, don't open the door. Geeta said to Harini, don't open the door. Let us look what kind of sentence is reported clause. Don't open the door is a reported clause, and it begins don't plus verb. So if it is a don't plus verb, it is an imperative sentence. Imperative sentence. And then said or said to. Now let us look at the sentence. Don't open the door. We can't make it whether it is a command or whether it is a warning or whether it is it is not a request because there is no word please. So it is not a request. Maybe any other possible word. Then we just go with asked. Simple way. Don't open the door. Maybe Geeta asked. So we just use the word asked. Said or said to changes to asked. Third point, conjunction. What is the conjunction supposed to be? If it is a positive, we use a to. If it is a negative, we use a not to. Don't is a negative. Sentence is a negative. So we write not to. Not to. Now let's change into indirect speech. Geeta asked Harini. Geeta asked Harini not to open the door. Open the door. Not to open the door. Geeta asked Harini not to open the door. Let's take one more example. Never do that again, father said. Never do that again, father said. What is the reported clause? Sentence in inverted commas. Never do that again. What kind of sentence? So sentence begins with never. Never plus verb. Never do. So do is a helping verb, but actually here it is a main verb. So never plus verb. Never do that again is a imperative sentence. Imperative sentence. If it is imperative sentence, said or said to, we change. Let's look at the sentence now. Never do that again, father said. Most probably it might be a warning, so we just use the word warned. Never do that again, father said. It is like a warning. Never do that again. So we use said or said to. Reporting verb changes to warned. Third point, conjunction. If it is a positive, we use to. If it is a negative, we use not to. Never is a negative word. Never is a negative word. So it is a negative sentence. So we use conjunction not to. We use conjunction not to. That's right answer now. Father warned not to do that again. Not to do that again. Not to do that again. Father warned not to do that again. This is how we change imperative sentences from direct to indirect speech. The fifth kind of sentence and the last, exclamatory sentences. When it comes to exclamatory sentences, how we should change into indirect speech? Here, said or said to changes to exclaimed. Conjunction, we use that. And we use very before adjective and adverb. Said or said to changes to exclaim. Conjunction we use that. We use very before adjective and adverb. Let's take an example. Santi said, "What an excellent idea." Santi said, "What an excellent idea." The sentence in inverted commas is called a reporting clause. Here reporting clause is "what an excellent idea." What kind of sentence is "what an excellent idea"? It begins with what and then an. What plus a or an is an exclamatory sentence. Now the given sentence is exclamatory sentence. Exclamatory. If it is exclamatory, said or said to changes to exclaimed. Said or said to changes to exclaimed. Third, conjunction we use that. And fourth, we use very before adjective and adverb. Now let us change the given sentence into indirect speech. Santi said or said to changes to exclaimed. Santi exclaimed. Santi exclaimed. Conjunction we use that. Now here you need to note a point. What an excellent idea. This particular sentence is talking about something. About what? About idea. About idea. So immediately after that conjunction, we need to use of what we are talking about. Here, what an excellent idea. We are talking about idea. So that, and then we write that the idea. We need to add the. We don't use an, we use the. Santi exclaimed that the idea. Once again, after the conjunction, let us look at the sentence. What an excellent idea. This particular sentence is talking about a particular topic, that is idea. Talking about idea. So we need to place that idea after that. But here it is mentioned an idea, but when it comes to indirect speech, we don't use an, that an changes to the. Exclaimed that the idea was, that the idea was very, that the idea was very. Before adjective I told, before adjective or adverb we need to use very. Here is what is an adjective? Excellent. Very excellent. Santi exclaimed that the idea was very excellent. Full stop. Let's take another example. Preeti said how tall she is. Preeti said how tall she is. Now here the words or the sentence in inverted commas is how tall she is. What kind of sentence? So sentence begins with how. How is a question word. But let us see whether there is an inversion or not. If there is an inversion, it becomes open interrogative sentence. If there is no inversion, then it is exclamatory sentence. Let us see, is there inversion? What is inversion? Helping verb plus a subject. No inversion means subject plus helping verb. Here, she is subject plus helping verb. So no inversion. So it is an exclamatory sentence. So exclamatory sentence. Second. Said or said to. Said or said to changes to exclaimed. Exclaimed. And what is the conjunction we use? Third point. What is the conjunction? We are supposed to use that as a conjunction in exclamatory sentence. Fourth point, use very before adjective or adverb. Now let's change the sentence, given sentence into indirect speech. Preeti Said or said to changes to. Exclaimed. Preeti exclaimed that. Now look at the sentence. How tall she is. Now in this sentence we are talking about what? We are talking about she. We are talking about she. So we use she. That she is changes to was. Is changes to was. She Preeti exclaimed that she was use very before adjective. Here is a tall as adjective. So we write very tall. Preeti exclaimed that she was very tall. This is how we change exclamatory direct sentences into indirect. Now when it comes to the sentences with interjections, how do we change? A sentence with interjections, how do we change? Let us learn now. Here, when sentence with interjection, said or said to, changes to exclaimed with joy, exclaimed with surprise, or wondered, cried with pain, or cried sorrowfully, based on the sentence, based on interjection, we change. Based on interjection, we change reporting verb. Conjunction, here we use again that as a conjunction. Sentences with interjections. We are discussing sentences with interjections. When sentences it comes with interjections, said or said to the reporting verb changes to exclaimed with joy, exclaimed with surprise, wondered, cried with pain, cried sorrowfully. Based on interjection, we change. And a conjunction, we use that. Let us take example. He said, hooray, I won a prize. Now here, hooray is interjection. Now when it is when we use sentences with interjection, based on interjection, we supposed to change reporting verb. Now how can we change this hooray? Hooray is a happy thing. So we can say he exclaimed with the joy. Hooray is a joyful word. So exclaimed with joy that conjunction. What conjunction we supposed to use? That as a conjunction. He exclaimed with. Why should I write exclaimed with joy? This reporting verb changes based on interjection. Here the interjection is hooray. So if the word is if the interjection is here, hooray is related to exclaimed with joy. He exclaimed with joy that I refers to whom? I refers to he. So he won. One is V2. One is V2. That changes to had plus V3. That he had won a prize. That he had won a prize. So when sentences comes with interjections, we need to be careful. Based on the interjection, that reporting verb has to be changed. Here, hooray is a happy word. There we write exclaimed with joy. And the conjunction we use that. As usual, like a declarative sentence. Just like a declarative sentence. I won a prize is just like a declarative sentence. This I changes refers to he. So I changes to he here. One is V2. V2 changes to had plus V3. So had won a prize. Ends with the full stop. Let's take another one. She said, alas, I failed in the exam. Now here another word alas is interjection. So what kind of word is alas? Alas expresses sorrow. Expresses sorrow. Then she exclaimed sorrowfully She exclaimed. We can write sorrowfully, or we can write she exclaimed with sorrow. We can write exclaimed sorrowfully or exclaimed with sorrow. She exclaimed sorrowfully that. She exclaimed sorrowfully that. Now, just like a declarative sentence, I refers to she. That she failed. Again, failed is V2. V2 changes to had plus V3. Had plus V3. She exclaimed sorrowfully that she had failed in the exam. She had failed in the exam. She exclaimed sorrowfully. Why should I use the word here sorrowfully? The interjection here refers to sorrow, alas, ayyo, alas. So she exclaimed sorrowfully that she had failed in the exam and ends with the full stop. So far we have discussed all 5 kinds of sentences, how to change direct to indirect speech. So this is the summary. The table on the board is just a summary of all the kinds of sentences. So just to recollect all the points. In declarative or assertive sentence, we use a conjunction that, and said we don't change and we write said. Said to we change into told, replied, stated, declared. When it comes to an open interrogative sentence, we use a conjunction same question word. Said or said to changes to asked, question, inquired, interrogated. And there must be an inversion. What is the inversion? Helping verb or noun or pronoun interchange. When it comes to closed interrogative, we use a conjunctions if or whether. If or whether. And here said or said to changes to asked, question, inquired, interrogated, and there must be inversion just like a open interrogative sentence. And when it comes to imperative, we use to or not to. To or not to. Said or said to changes to ordered, commanded, requested, or shouted. And exclamatory sentences, we use a conjunction that. Said or said to changes to exclaimed, exclaimed with joy, exclaimed with sorrowfully, based on the sentence. So let us just be careful with the conjunctions. Declarative and exclamatory, they both take a same conjunction that. So it's never to is not there. To or not to. When it comes to imperative. Close interrogative if or whether. Open interrogative, same question word. So this is a summary of 5 kinds of sentences. How do we change direct speech into indirect speech based on a kind of a sentence? In the next video, we discuss some advanced points related to direct and